Let's now head to bring you Flashback, a recap of stories that made headlines during the week. We begin on Monday with the this week with a warning from the Independent National Electoral Commission urging Nigerians not to fall victims to fake websites advertising voter registration. Now, this warning is contained in a statement signed by National Commissioner Festus Okoye, who says it has concluded its continuous voter registration exercise for the 2023 general election. Now, this is happening barely 24 hours after the suspension of voter registration by the electoral body, and Mr. Okoye states unequivocally that the site isn't linked to the commission and that the link or portal is spurious and from a dubious source. He called on members of the public not to succumb to what he called the antics of online scammers, and so should avoid such fake sites. Still on Monday, the federal government described the hike in the price of premium motor spirit, also known as petrol. Well, the government described this hike as illegal. The Minister of State, Petroleum Resources, Timipri Silva, spoke at a consultation forum on petroleum regulation in Abuja, where he claimed that the federal government hasn't deregulated the commodity, but he assured Nigerians that the hike in petrol pump price will be looked into.
Section 216 of the Petroleum Industry Act mandates the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority to consult with stakeholders prior to finalizing any amendment to regulations. These regulations are integral in ensuring the Petroleum Industry Act is fully operational and will enable investment and ease of doing business, create employment opportunities for Nigerians, and prevent undue burdens on industry players. Regulations being considered are Petroleum Transportation and Shipment Regulations, Assignment and Transfer of License and Permit Regulations, Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Operations Regulations, Petroleum Pipeline Regulations, Gas Price and Domestic Demand and Delivery Regulations, Natural Gas Pipeline Tariff Regulations, Midstream and Downstream Decommissioning and Abandonment Regulations, Environmental Regulations for Midstream and Downstream Operations, Midstream and Downstream Gas Infrastructure Funds Regulations, Environmental Remediations Fund Regulations.
As a regulator, we are here to enable investment. At the same time, we're like police. We have to be guided by the provision of either the policy or the regulation.
But what do these regulations mean to the layman on the streets, motorists, commuters, small, medium and large-scale business owners who rely on petroleum products, especially fuel, to operate and stay in business? In recent times, 4 queues have disappeared and reappeared in FCT and environs, and was also accompanied by a hike in pump price. A litre which sold for 165 naira now sells for 175 naira or 185 naira per litre. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timipri Silva, says the government did not increase the pump price of PMS.
I tell you authoritatively, we have not deregulated. The government is subsidizing. If there are increases in the price, it is not from the government. It's probably from the marketers. But of course, I will talk to the authority chief executive to ensure that they actually regulate the prices. But this is not from the government. We have not deregulated.
On to Tuesday, where 5 more victims of the Abuja-Kaduna train attack were freed and united with their families. This latest development was confirmed by Mamu Tukur, who's been the lead negotiator. The victims have spent more than 4 months in captivity. Among those freed is Mustafa Umar, an associate professor of medical biochemistry at the Usman Danfodio University in Sokoto State. It's unclear if any ransom was paid for the release of the victims, just like those early released after family members confirmed that they paid at least 100 million naira to secure the release of their loved ones. Now, with this latest number released by the terrorists, the total number of those freed is now 29 out of the 63 passengers kidnapped 64 others are still held captive. 34 others are still held captive, I should say. Now, this is, of course, dealing with the hostages of the Abuja-Kaduna bound train. Well, just as families of the released victims in Kaduna State heaved a sigh of relief over the return of their loved ones, President Muhammadu Buhari acknowledged that Nigeria needs more international collaboration to tackle terrorism and banditry in the country. The president spoke on Tuesday this week when he received letters of credence from the Canadian High Commissioner to Nigeria, Ambassador James Kingston Christoph, as well as the Ambassador of Mexico to Nigeria, Juan Alfred Miranda Ortiz. President Buhari blamed the political instability in Libya for the rise of terrorism in the Sahel and the threat to the sustenance of democracy in West and Central Africa regions. The president told the new diplomats that the support of their countries and other friendly countries has helped Nigeria make meaningful progress in tackling insecurity challenges, assuring that the threats will be defeated.
Nigeria is not left out of the equation as we are fighting to rid our country of banditry, kidnapping, harder farmer crisis, and insurgency. We are, however, making meaningful progress with the support of friendly countries like yours to sustain these fights until we overcome these challenges.
And now to Wednesday this week, where the leadership of the Senate held a closed-door session with heads of security agencies. This over the disturbing trend of insecurity in the country. During the meeting, President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, described the situation as frightening, saying that a lot more needs to be done. He says the worrying situation has caused a sharp decline in the economy as the country is unable to attract foreign direct investments, and the oil sector is also failing due to oil theft. Well, in his response, the Chief of Defense Staff says issues of security must be seen from what he called a collective perspective, as the military remains committed to finding a lasting solution. He insists a lot has already been done to ensure they improve on the security architecture of the country and that no stone is left unturned in ensuring the safety of lives and property. Still on Wednesday, security agencies in the Federal Capital Territory will soon get new operational vehicles as well as gadgets, security accessories and other equipment to enhance their duty of keeping people safe as well as securing the country's capital. This week's Federal Executive Council meeting, chaired by President Buhari, approved this procurement for security agencies and a memo that will make Nigeria the maritime hub of West and Central Africa.
The decision of the Federal Executive Council to approve the procurement of operational vehicles, equipment and communication gadgets for security agencies in the FCT will no doubt complement ongoing efforts to repel the advancement of armed groups, terrorists and bandits into the capital city. But the Minister of FCT says this is just part of periodic support to security agencies and insists there is no cause to panic, as security operatives are working round the clock to keep citizens safe.
There is tremendous effort by all to make sure that Abuja continues to be a safe haven for all of us.
For the Ministry of Transport, a memo was approved for a public-private partnership arrangement for the development of the Badagry deep sea port. The port will be concessioned for a period of 45 years.
At the end of the concessionary period, the port reverts to the federal government of Nigeria through the Nigerian Ports Authority. The project cost stood at $2.59 billion.
Council also approved a policy memo that defines the framework for the institutionalization of the practice of monitoring and evaluation. The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, says this will improve the well-being of citizens and promote good governance.
The policy defines a framework for the institutionalization of the practice of M&E to promote good governance, learning, and accountability for results that will contribute to improve socio-economic development of the country and enhance the well-being of citizens.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo virtually attended this week's Federal Executive Council meeting for the first time after undergoing a surgical operation at a private hospital in Lagos.
Thursday, still, the All Progressives Congress officially announced Governor Simon Lalong of Plateau State as the Director General of the Presidential Campaign Organization. The APC National Chairman Abdullahi Adamu led the presidential candidate of the party, Bola Tinubu, and his running mate Kashim Shettima to a meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari in his office in Abuja, where he made the announcement at a briefing.
It is now common practice for the leadership of the All Progressives Congress to defer to the president on critical decisions and announcements within the party. This time they have come to tell President Buhari about the shape and form the presidential campaign will take ahead of next year's general election. The national chairman of the party, Senator Abdullahi Adamu, announced that the governor of Plateau State, Simon Lalong, is the Director General of the party's presidential campaign, saddled with the responsibility to lead the party to victory at the polls.
The person who is going to be the DG, the Director General of the APC Presidential Campaign Organization, is His Excellency, seated by my left here, Governor Simon Lalong of Plateau State.
We are happy with it. That is why you see the leadership cadre. And we are able to confirm to you that we've had the buy-in of Mr. President, the leader of the party.
I'm not a Christian candidate. I was not nominated as a Christian candidate. The party said I've been nominated because of my ability. You understand? My ability, I'm governor of Plateau. I didn't say I'm governor of Christians in Plateau.
Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has a track record of excellence. If you keep on swapping to throw stones at every dog that barks, you will not reach your destination. We will not threaten insults and lies and mischief. We have established track record of excellence. Let our opponents show what they have done in their respective states.
The national chairman also doused claims that not everyone in the APC has lined up behind the Tinubu-Shettima presidential ticket. He says the APC remains the most favored to get majority votes at the polls.
Every one of us has a duty inherent in his loyalty to the party to stand shoulder to shoulder with our candidate. Any result of that is sabotage, and we'll treat it as such.
With just about 6 months until the general election, the APC and its presidential campaign team must work hard to show Nigerians what the Tinubu-Shettima ticket brings to the table in terms of ending insecurity, improving the country's economic fortunes, and the general well-being of citizens.
And finally, on Flashback tonight, the Council of Student Union President is calling for the sack of the Ministers of Education and Labour for failing to resolve the ongoing ASU strike. The union threatened to mobilize students across the country to occupy major streets in the country until the prolonged strike is called off.
Nigerian students have found themselves at the receiving end of the continuous strike embarked on by Academic Staff Union of Universities over unresolved issue with the federal government since 2009. It has caused untold hardship for both students and their parents due to the uncertainty of the academic calendar. Even when ASU members get some of their demands met and return to classes, they are soon out back on strike, leaving the students to pick up the pieces of their lives with great difficulty. This is now over 5 months since ASU embarked on its latest strike.
Then in school,
Ezine Eke is a 300-level student of the University of Nigeria. Having stayed at home for almost 6 months, she is already receiving messages from her landlord reminding her to renew the rent of her hostel accommodation, which will be due in October.
Since March, I haven't been there. March, April, May, you can count it. And then I'll go back to my dad and I'm like, my lodge rent has expired. How is he going to see it?
ASU strike has been on for a while. I mean, everybody wants to get jobs or find something to do, but like in the end, when you are trying to find something professional, you can't get it because everybody keeps demanding for your BSc results.
The Council of Students Union Presidents, which comprises of all students' union presidents across federal universities in Nigeria, are not taking this lightly. They are giving the government a time frame to resolve the issue or have Nigerian students in major streets of the nation's capital.
We also call for the immediate removal of the Minister of Education, Adamu, and the Minister of Labour, Chris Ngigi. We are going to shut down the activities of the airport. We are going to block major roads in the Federal Capital Territory. At least we are going to start receiving lectures in the Ministry of Education, both in the Ministry of Labour and even in the airports.
And anybody can feel free to take this as an empty threat, but time will tell if we are bluffing or if we actually have the capacity to deliver on what we are saying.